We can call it the Presumption of Guilt Act. Did you see this in the news in Utah from the Salt Lake Tribune on April 8, 2024? The title to the article is, quote, "A Utah man never hit his wife until he tried to kill her, but how he treated her was a warning sign," close quote. I've included the link to the article in the description section of this video if you'd like to read it. Now, this is about proposed coercive control legislation and the idea that it's needed because of the, quote, "failure of the courts," close quote, to detect crime. That makes no sense. It's not a judge's job to detect crime. Now, pay attention. It's the police and the prosecutor's jobs to do that. The judge applies the law to the facts and the evidence and then renders judgment based upon the evidence or the lack thereof. Moreover, by its nature, crime occurs in the shadows. It's going to happen no matter how much anti-crime legislation is passed. Otherwise stated, crime does not occur due to a lack of laws on the books. Legislation might help to punish crime, but it isn't much of a deterrent to crime and never has been. The idea that we must work toward zero domestic violence is absurd. Domestic violence has always occurred and always will in an imperfect world in a free society. Thus, domestic violence is going to occur regardless of how many laws are passed, quote, "in opposition to it." Proposed statutes like this can work only by having the public and law enforcement and the courts indulge in a mass group delusion. Laws like this will result in a presumption of guilt as a way of getting rid of the pesky preponderance of evidence standard of proof and letting instead the better safe than sorry and abundance of caution and even guilty until proven innocent standard rule. Miraculously, this new, not a real standard will create a new class of abuser, i.e. those who self-proclaimed victims subjectively deem to be abusers and that the courts will treat, whether they like to say they will or not, as abusers unless and until the presumed abuser proves otherwise. Perversely, proponents of such a bill will claim that it is reducing domestic violence by increasing arrests, prosecutions, and convictions. But that doesn't mean they're actually catching guilty people. This will come at the cost of throwing the presumption of innocence and a preponderance of evidence or beyond a reasonable doubt standards out the window. Not just thrown out the window, but shot out with high velocity beyond retrieval. This would create a net that will end up snaring innocent people who will be falsely accused and then convicted in the name of, quote, better, close quote, detection and prevention.